evening, students. Today we will discuss completely about the history optional syllabus. How to think about the history optional syllabus. After decoding it, you will feel that it is very easy to understand history syllabus, and it is a single story. Even though for our convenience purpose, we have divided into ancient, medieval, modern India and modern world, but in fact, it is a single story of our humanity. How our human beings are evolving over a period of time. UPSC mentioned this is the latest notification, 2023 notification, and this is how UPSC mentions. History paper 1, like every optional, paper 1 and paper 2 we have. Paper 1, 250 marks, and paper 2, 250 marks. In paper 1, it starts with like this: 1, sources, then 2, prehistory, Indus, megalithic, and so on. How to think about it? First, we will see in a holistic manner. Then we will come to the syllabus. If we understand our entire history into a single story, always when you are studying about history, always keep the map with you. Because whatever story we are studying in history, it is somewhere happened at some point of time. Without space, without earth, we don't have history. Because on this earth, on this space, we people are living and we are creating the history. That is why to understand the right story in the right perspective, we should always know the geographical area in which it belongs, that story belongs, and the timeline to which it belongs. Both space and time, that gives you complete clarity about what kind of socio-economic, religious ideas were prevalent during that particular point of time. Now I will try to give you one single story, and that single story we will see in the notification, that is same story, single story divided into multiple areas, multiple chapters. History is all about the past. The past, whatever happened in our past, the past of humanity. It goes back to the evolution of the human beings. First of all, where did we come from and how did we evolve? Our concern is not biological or anything. When it comes to history, we won't concern about the biological evolution and all. We are only concerned about from which point of timeline, from which geographic location, human beings started creating something innovative, and they started changing completely the lifestyle of their existence. For the first time, this kind of evolution starts with the usage of the stone tools. Initially, biologically, human beings were also like animals. We human beings evolved from the animals. Today also we see so many animals. We were also like those animals only. But then, so at some point of time, the history changed. The past of humanity changed. The fate of human beings have changed. The moment they started using their brain, they started taking the stone tools. For example, today also we see animals. Surrounding the animals, so many stones are there. But they don't take the stones and they won't create something new tool out of it. Because they don't know what to do with that tool, with that stone. But when it comes to humanity, our human beings, our ancestors, they started thinking about the same stone which other animals are also looking at and human ancestors are also looking at. But they started thinking that with the stone, we can do something much bigger work. What is the ultimate work? To sustain, to survive. For survival, initial days, only hunting and gathering. We don't have, today we have agriculture, today we have different industries, today we have different professions. But in those times, there is only one profession, that is hunting, getting the food, gathering, getting the food, sleeping, and again morning, going and hunting. Ultimate aim is, in the initial days, survival only. That survival, and how do we know from which point of our time that started? Archaeological survey says somewhere in the eastern part, somewhere in the northern part of Africa, from this area onwards, our human ancestors started migrating to different places. And in that process, they came to different locations and they came to India also. Because today we are living in this particular geographic location. That's why we want to know what happened in this location. The people, Chinese people, they study what happened in their past in their geographic location. Americans study what happened in their geographic location. Likewise, every country, they study their past. We Indians, we have this land and we are concerned about this land. Initially, all the human beings emerged from here and they came here. But what is the evidence? It happened somewhere thousands of years ago, lakhs of years ago. But what is the evidence? How do we know that people came here and in which location they started and they started making the tools and they started living? Only evidence is, we don't have the fossils also, much fossil evidence is not there. We don't have any houses they constructed. We don't have any other monuments, but only evidence is they left some kind of tools made up of stones. Only stones, they created some tools out of it, and these tools are surviving even today also after lakhs of years also. And in some particular locations, we identified in different locations in Rajasthan, in Jammu and Kashmir, in Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra, everywhere in different locations. Based on these stone tools, we identify that, yes, these stones, they are looking like stones, but they are natural. They are not natural. If stones are natural, then we can think like it's naturally available, nothing happened, no human being survived. But they are not natural. Someone had done something on those stones. They prepared tools out of it. That means human beings must be settling. And we got these, and these we call Paleolithic. Stone Age. They don't know how to write, and they don't know how to pass the information from one stage to the other stage. We know about these people only through the stone tools left by them, that we call this time, the age is called Stone Age. For our convenience purpose, again, in Stone Age, we see different variations within the human evolution. In the initial phase, large stones are the old age, we call Old Stone Age. And in the new, agriculture emerged. Gradually, human beings started settling in some places. They started making their agriculture. Initially, hunting and gathering, very difficult to sustain. And after some time, they settled in one area. They started practicing agriculture. They got sufficient food. Once they got sufficient food, then everything else will start follow. And in between this age and this age, middle Stone Age we call Mesolithic. Combinedly, this part we also called prehistoric period. Generally, the scholars or historians considered the moment human beings started using script, from that time period onwards, we call historic period. And before the emergence of script, we consider all those developments part of prehistory. This prehistory, almost 99% of our human existence. So it is not a short amount of time. 99% of our human history is about this prehistoric period only. And what is the evidence to understand this much? Only archaeological sources. No literary sources, only archaeological sources. We have to completely rely on it. Otherwise, we cannot know about these people. Only archaeological sources. That is why understanding about archaeological sources is very, very important. And this prehistoric age, because so much past is hidden in this part. As the new archaeological evidences come, our understanding also will change. Now, if we talk about our syllabus is nothing but our first chapter. You can see sources. The first chapter of our source is sources, archaeological sources, exploration, excavation, and epigraphy, numismatic monuments. You remove up to here. But exploration and excavation, when it comes to this part, exploration and excavation, different historians, archaeologists, they started exploring and excavating these areas. We come to know about these Stone Ages, prehistoric period. That is the source. Now, when it comes to the second part, it particularly talks about prehistory. Now, you see, prehistory and proto-history. Geographical factors, hunting and gathering, Paleolithic, Mesolithic, and beginning of agriculture, that is Neolithic. Later, not only people started using the stones, but they also started using the metal. First metal they identified as the copper. This first copper, the people who started using copper, we call them Chalcolithic. And that particular time period we call Chalcolithic age. And this was also included as part of our syllabus. And when it comes to our sources, archaeological sources, through these archaeological sources, we know about the details of these people. And ultimately, what we are going to study about them during prehistory and proto-history. During prehistoric period, we only talk about what are the settlements. Throughout Indian geographic land, these settlements are not there. Only in certain specific areas we identify. And these are the settlements. And most importantly, we have a question, that is map question. This map question keep on ask about Paleolithic, in which location we identified Paleolithic age and Mesolithic and Neolithic. That is why instead of theory question, UPSC focus more on map question with respect to this particular chapter, prehistory and proto-history. That's why we have to know in which locations Paleolithic, Mesolithic and Neolithic settlements were there. Now settlements, and what is the description we write? How they lived. The term we call subsistence. What is the food they eat, and what is the house they lived? Initially, they were living in caves, and later they started building their own houses. So, house making, and later they started making pottery also. When it comes to pottery, once you start agriculture, you have to store the food. Or even before that also, you need to store. You need some kind of utensil to store that food. Pottery emerged, and this is what the basic primitive lifestyle. And today also, if you go to tribal pockets of India, you will find a similar type of pattern. The same kind, different areas gave different evidences, and these are the evidences we need to write when it comes to the map question. Sometime question can be asked. A scholar called V. Gordon Child, he told, in comparison with the Paleolithic and Mesolithic, in Neolithic, a completely revolutionary changes happened, because in Neolithic, agriculture emerged. In comparison with this phase and this phase, it is a revolutionary Neolithic revolution. And again, you are going to talk about Neolithic revolution means settled settlements, agriculture. Once agriculture settlements come, villages will come. Once villages will come, some kind of religious beliefs, some kind of social system, some kind of economic system will emerge. And gradually, the 5 fundamental elements throughout our history, this is very common. First one is, once you have kind of political system, how you administer yourself. That we call Politico-Administration. Second one, economy, third one society, fourth one art and culture, and fifth one science and technology. These are the 5 fundamental dimensions, and now we are in prehistoric period. But to understand prehistoric period, we don't have much resources except archaeological sources. That's why their political-administration and all we don't know. That's why this will not come at all in prehistoric period. Economy, when it comes to economy, it is about agriculture, then artisan activities, then trading activities, then urbanization. But in prehistoric time period, some of these elements will not come. Only agriculture, basic primitive artisan activities. And when it comes to society, we talk about condition of women, education. Later in our society, Varna system emerged. But in prehistoric time period, these things will not come. We don't know. When it comes to art and culture, their religious beliefs, their literature, their architecture, paintings, music, all these things will come. But in prehistoric stage, we don't have anything except the terracotta images. Based on that, some mother goddess type of images were recovered. Based on that, probably they might have believed in the mother goddess type of religion. And science and technology, this is the stone. Based on stone, primitive technology with stone, the technology they used, and with metal, copper technology. That's why Neolithic, then Chalcolithic will come, then bronze technology. But when it comes to Stone Age, we talk about the stone technology. Now you see how when human beings started progressing, more and more political administration we study, more and more economic activities, more and more society, more and more complex society, more advanced art and culture, and more advanced science and technology. Only now from one phase to the other phase, when people move, and these things will keep on change, they improve based on top of the previous trend. That is the first chapter, prehistoric. Now when it comes to after some time what happened, this agrarian people, they started living in, gradually they started building urban areas. Now how advanced? Gradually around 2500 BC itself, some people, but when it comes to some other areas, still in these areas people were living in Neolithic. And in fact this area in Mesolithic, Paleolithic, around 1000 BC only Neolithic will come. That means agriculture started. But you see, when it comes to this time period, when these areas, other areas are living in the village setup, but this area lived in urban areas with a highly advanced nature. And it is also the period when in other areas also this kind of civilizations emerged. We call this civilization as Indus Valley civilization because near Indus River this civilization emerged, Indus Valley civilization. Similarly, Chinese civilization, Mesopotamia, and Egyptian civilization. And we talk about these Indus Valley civilization had contacts with Mesopotamia also, and Mesopotamia also will come in our trading activities. But we don't have connections with the Chinese civilization and Egyptian civilization. At least so far, no evidence. In future, if archaeological evidence comes, then we'll talk about even relationship between these two also. But at this point of time, urbanized, and in comparison with other areas, they are very advanced. And these advanced, what we study? Again, the same thing. When it comes to Indus Valley civilization, what is the geographic location? From now onwards, you should have idea that in which geographic location, for a particular geography, when it comes to Indus Valley civilization, near Indus and Rajasthan, Gujarat, Punjab areas up to Western UP, in that location, how Politico-Administration was there, and how their economy was there, how agriculture, how artisan activities, trading activities, urbanization. Then society, how women were there and was there any Varna system. But when it comes to Harappan, again we don't have any literary sources. We have to understand through archaeological sources. Whatever we can infer, we will write that. Then art and culture, their religion, their literature, architecture. Again, we don't know except a few details about religion. Then their science and technology. They started using copper also, bronze also. That is why we talk about the same thing. Now you see the syllabus. Come to the syllabus. The third chapter is about Indus Valley civilization. Indus Valley means the moment Indus Valley civilization, you imagine the geographic location. Origin, date, extent, characteristics, decline, survival and significance, art and architecture. Are you getting? Only art and architecture. Once it declined, some of the elements will continue to next generation. That is very common feature to our Indian history. If Mauryan dynasty ended, it doesn't mean whatever Mauryan's institutions established, they did not survive. They survived in the post-Mauryan time period also. Whatever institutions established in post-Mauryan continued in the Gupta time period also. Similarly, after the decline of Indus Valley, the traditions of Indus Valley continue to the next stage also. That is what survival and significance, their art and architecture, characteristics. Here you see the term characteristic. The term characteristic is nothing but Politico-Administration, their society, their economy, and art and culture also. That's what their characteristics. Same 5 dimensions we apply to Indus Valley civilization. The timeline is 3200 to 1900 BC. And before that, prehistory, only time will change, geography will change, but remain, the study of 5 dimensions remains same. Now, around the same time period, in this location, in South India, we know about some people called megalithic people. We know that some cultures on their burial, near the burial ground, they covered their dead bodies with large stones. We specifically name them as megalithic. In not every place these megalithics were there. Whatever area megalithics were, burials were found, we consider them as megalithic culture. Again, to know about these people, what we have to study? Again, their extent, their geographic location. Now let us see what is the syllabus. Now you see this. Distribution of pastoral and farming cultures outside the Indus. You see this? Outside Indus means outside that geographic location in the rest of the India. Outside Indus, development of community life. Community life means society of megalithic people. Then development of agriculture. Agriculture came, that means economy. Crafts means artisan activities under part of economy you will see. Pottery either you can keep under artisan activities. Then iron industry. They started using the technology, iron technology. That's why we talk about the science and technology of megalithic, iron. Now same thing, their society, their economy, their technology for this megalithic period, megalithic cultures. Later, after some time, to this location once again, a new set of people, just now we have seen, before prehistoric period, the people migrated from this location. Migrations are very, very common throughout our history. Similarly, after some time, around 2000 BC and 1500 BC, we have seen a different kind of migration we call Aryans. So this we call Aryans, and when they settled in this location, initially they settled here, later settlements expanded to the Gangetic Valley. The moment they settled in this location, again we have to study about same, who are these Aryans, what is their economy, what is their society, what is their art and architecture, Science and technology, what is there? Politico-Administration. And this one, to what geographic location we are studying? Only this geographic location, and timeline is from 1500 BC to 1000 BC. So in this timeline, in this geographic location, how the society, economy, polity, administration was there. It may be primitive. Comparing with the later time periods, it may be in the beginning stage. But what are the elements that are there, we have to study. Now, during their time period, a unique type of social system emerged, that is Varna system, and we will talk about that. When it comes to political administration, monarchy evolved. Then we will study about their political administration, their agriculture, their industrial activities, trading activities, and art and architecture means the literature. When it comes to early Vedic, they composed a literature called Vedic Rig Veda, we will study. And in fact, from that Rig Veda only, we know about all these details. Up to now, only archaeology. For the first time, we have some kind of literary evidence, that is Rig Veda. And we will talk about Rig Veda as part of art also, as part of a source of history. When it comes to science and technology, again, they were only using the copper technology. Iron is not dominant in this time period, and we'll study about the copper technology, the bronze and copper. Again, 5 dimensions. If we go to syllabus, what we will see? Same things we are going to study. Now you see this. Next, Aryans and Vedic period. If you consider from 1500 BC to 600 BC, first one is called early Vedic, second one is called later Vedic. Now what we'll study? Expansion of Aryans in India. Expansion means the geographic location where they settled. Vedic period, religious and philosophic literature. Getting? Religious literature and philosophic literature, art and culture. Transformation from Rigvedic period to later Vedic period. What is the transformation? Transformation means evolution. Political. How political condition during early Vedic time period, how it transformed in the later Vedic. Then socio and economic life. Society and economic life. The moment economy comes, then we talk about agriculture, artisan activities, trading activities. Same thing. Society, women condition, Varna condition, and education condition, family, the social elements. Significance of Vedic age, evolution of monarchy and Varna system. Monarchy, political, and Varna system, society. Basic dimensions came. Now, after this time period, in this particular land, in Gangetic Valley, for the first time we are going to see kingdoms and empires. Up to now, up to later Vedic time period, no major empires and no major kingdoms. Tribal kingdoms were there, but they were not commanding the large extent of the geographic location. After the later Vedic time period, by this time period, so many. Now our concentration goes to particularly about this land. Now in different location, different kingdoms emerged. Now again, what we study? If we talk about any particular kingdom, again for this geographic location, how is their society, how is their economy, how is their polity, same story. In fact, we are only studying about these 5 elements repeatedly for different timeline and different geographic location. And there was a kingdom called Magadha. They gradually expanded to all the direction, and after some time this entire land was covered by a different dynasty, and different dynasty we call Mauryans. Magadha was the territory name, Maurya was the dynasty name. By Mauryan time period, from 600 BC to till, suppose if you take 250 BC. From 600 BC to 250 BC, at this point of time, Magadha was a small kingdom in this location. By 250 BC, this much big empire was created. Now we have to study what happened to this particular timeline. And again, what is a study? Academic study, what same thing. If we go to syllabus, what UPSC mentioned. Now after Aryans, period of Mahajanapadas. Then period of Mahajanapadas, formation of states, Mahajanapada, republics and monarchies, Politico-Administration, rise of urban center, urbanization, economic condition, trade routes, trade economy, economic growth, introduction of coinage, economy, spread of Jainism and Buddhism. Now new religions, art and culture, new religions are emerging, those will come. Rise of Magadha and Nandas, political conquest, Iranian and Macedonian invasions and their impact. Again, politics of different kind. Chapter 6 is done. Now come to 7th one, Mauryan Empire. Foundation of the Mauryan Empire, politics. Then Chandragupta, Kautilya, Ardhashastra. It is about politico-administration of Mauryan time period. Then Ashoka, concept of dharma, edicts. They are talking about politico-administration, polity, administration, economy, art, architecture, sculpture. External contacts, now they have an empire and how they traded with other countries or other empires. Religion, spread of religion, literature. Are you getting? Only these fundamental 5 elements, politico-administration, economy, society, art and culture, science and technology. Then if I write timeline, first we will talk about Stone Age or prehistoric age. All these institutions are not very strong. That's why only we talk about few. Then second one, once Stone Age is done, second part is about megalithic or Indus Valley civilization. Then megalithic, then Aryans. Likewise, then if we draw a timeline, 1500 BC to 1000 BC is early Vedic, 1000 to 600 is later Vedic period, and up to 300 Mahajanapadas, and up to 185 Mauryans. We have reached up to Mauryans. Up to Mauryans, same. Then post-Mauryan will come. Again we study during post-Mauryan time period, economy, society, geography, same 5 elements. After post-Mauryans, later Guptas will come. Then during Guptas, again initially how they expanded. Now you see, when it comes to post-Mauryan, you have 2 chapters, chapter number 8 and chapter number 9. Contacts with outside world, outside contacts, economy, growth of urban centers, economy, coinage, development of religion, Mahayana, social condition, art, architecture, culture, literature, science. All 5 dimensions clear? Now when it comes to 9th one, early state society in eastern India, different geographic location. Story remains. Kharavela, Shatavahana, Tamil states of Sangam, administration, economy, land grants, coinage, trade guild, urban center, Buddhist, Sangam literature. Whatever you take, again and again, we are going to study about the similar things in this particular location. Once after post-Mauryans, Guptas will come, Vakatakas, Vardhanas. Then you need not to even worry about the syllabus also. Now by this time, you already got what are the elements of this particular time period. Even without looking at the syllabus also, you can say that if for this particular Gupta time period, what we have to study is polity, administration, economy, coinage of Guptas, land grants, decline of urban centers, all were part of economy, feudalism, then caste system, position of women, society, education, educational institution, society, and different examples, literature, art and culture started, science, literature, art and architecture. Now, without knowing or without seeing the syllabus also, you will come to the conclusion that during Gupta's what the study, during Harshavardhana what is the study. Now, after Harshavardhana, so many regional states are about to emerge. Kadambas in Karnataka, Badami Chalukyas in Karnataka, Maharashtra, in Pallavas, little bit Andhra and Tamil Nadu. Again, what we are going to study in these geographical locations, what are the 5 dimensions. Even without knowing the syllabus also, you can come to the conclusion that these are the things we are going to study. Same is the case with themes in early Indian cultural history, early medieval time period. Only time is changing, but remains dimensions are going to be the same. Now you see 13th, for 750 to 1200, polity, then agrarian economy, society, and science and technology. Is it clear? Now, to 14th one, up to 14 chapters, paper 1, part A. Philosophy. Now you see this, particularly it is talking about art and culture. Chapter number 14 is all about, that is why, the cultural traditions, art and culture. In this art and culture, philosophy, religion, literature, art and architecture. Up to this point of time, paper 1, part A. Now in paper 1, part B, what is there? Same story. Now new people will come and that institutions are going to be the same. First Delhi Sultanates, then disintegration of Delhi Sultanate, regional kingdoms, then Mughal Empire, and after Mughals, disintegration. That is what the syllabus from 15, 16, 17 up to 20, up to 24. You can see 23, 24. If you go to 23, culture during Mughal Empire. Then if we go to 22, economy and society during 16th and 17th centuries. Then Mughal Empire in the 17th century, Politico-Administration, most of that. Akbar, during his time period, Politico-Administration. Then 19th, 15th and early different timeline, society and culture. How society was there, how culture was there. Then if we go above 18th, the 15th and early 16th, political developments and economy. Political developments and economy. Now, even without seeing your notification also, you can have a rough idea that different timeline and these are the 5 dimensions what we need to study. This is all about paper 1. Shabari, is it clear? Now, do you think history is that big or very, very simplified? Only short story, but UPSC enlarged. Because UPSC making student life very simplified, simple version. Clear? Now, when it comes to second part, paper 2. Now this is paper 1. We have seen. Now in paper 2, now when it comes to paper 1, we don't have much evidences. Ancient part, Stone Age, up to Vedic, and even though we have literary sources, so much debate still continuing, whether whatever they are saying is true or how far true, likewise. When it comes to 18th century, by 1700s, 1800s, so much literature emerged. We can read it, and if we don't like one particular source, we can read the other author. And again, if we don't convince, again we can go to the other author, we can corroborate it. That is why so many details we come to know about 1800 and 1900s. By this time period, so much developments took place. 1200 or 1206 we consider landmark, 1556 or 1756 or 1757 is considered as another landmark, 1764. Shabari, what is 1757? Any idea what is the significance of 1757? One battle took place, Battle of Plassey and Battle of Buxar. And 56, Second Battle of Panipat. And with respect to here, 1761, Third Battle of Panipat. And before that, 1526, First Battle of Panipat took place. And these are the, yes, 1764 Battle of Buxar and Battle of Plassey. Very good. These are the completely changed from one political system to the another political system. From this time period onwards, we have so much evidence. As a result, what happened? We are going to study the same polity administration. But this time, we have more details about the polity administration in comparison with ancient and medieval time period. That's why we get more details about the Politico-Administration and more details about economy, more details about society, and more details about art and culture, and science and technology. From 1757 to 1950, or in fact, up to 1964. Our history contains up to 1964 paper 2 part A, Modern India, contains up to here. So during this time period, even without looking at the syllabus also, you can come to the conclusion that we are going to study during British time period how our political system was there, British Politico-Administration, impact on economy, the economic condition during British time period, our society. Now you see this society having some kind of evils, we are going to see the reformation in the society also. Because this is the also time period, something is happening at the world level also. When it comes to ancient and medieval, whatever is happening at the global level, the impact is limited, slow. But now, from 18th century onwards, whatever developments are taking place at different points of globe, for example, in 1789, French Revolution took place, and this French Revolution influenced Indians. And when it comes to America, American War of Independence took place, that influenced India. Then during 1800s, many European revolutions took place, influenced India. Italian unification, Germany unification, Russian revolution, then many revolutions happened, and they are going to influence Indian common people. Because in ancient medieval time period, rulers were ruling, and they were feeling that this country belongs to them, and some rulers were behaving responsibly, some rulers were not behaving responsibly. That is why those who were not behaving responsibly, people started questioning them, common people. Earlier people were not at all considered. We don't know in ancient time period and medieval time period how people revolted, because whatever evidence survived, whatever evidence we are studying, it's mostly from the top to bottom. How kings, dynasties, or their conquest, what was their policies. But from medieval, modern time period onwards, we come to know that what rulers were doing and how people were also behaving. That's why, for the first time in our history, we talk about common people also when it comes to the modern time period. That's why we have polity, the common dimension, economy common, society common, science and technology common, art and architecture common. In addition to that, how people lived, how people responded to this kind of political system through different revolts, through different reforms, through different movements, mass mobilization. When it comes to modern India and modern world, we mostly concentrate about all these 5. On top of it, this development will come. Now let us go to the syllabus. You will get complete idea that now come to this. European penetration. First one is about European penetration. That means some people coming to India. It is similar to the ancient time period. We talked about migrations to Indian subcontinent, like Stone Age people. Stone Age people came, migrated. We talked about Paleolithic age, how in different locations, Paleolithic settlements, Mesolithic, Neolithic settlements. Now by this time period, we are talking different Europeans coming to India. By this time period, different Europeans coming to India. So how these people came and in which locations they settled. Like Paleolithic people settlements, Neolithic settlements, Mesolithic settlements, now European settlements. New people, new settlements. That's what this syllabus is also talking about. The early European settlements, different people from different countries. Portuguese settlements, Dutch settlement, English settlement, French settlements. And once they came here, they started fighting, conquest, their struggle for supremacy. Different geographic location, in which locations they fought. Carnatic area, that is Madras and below that. Bengal, they were fighting, conflict. And Nawab of Bengal, Sirajuddaula and Battle of Plassey, significance of Plassey. Then British expansion, the extension of this chapter only. Bengal conquest, then Mysore conquest, Maratha land and 3 Anglo-Maratha wars and Punjab. Earlier, when it comes to medieval time period, we talk about Akbar conquest. Now we are talking about British conquest. When it comes to Delhi Sultanate conquest, Gupta conquest, Samudragupta, the conquest of Samudragupta itself is a question. Like Samudragupta conquest, then Delhi Sultanate conquest, Mughals conquest, now British conquest. Same. After independence, free India also conquered different territories, but in a different way. Not with violence, not with swords, not with guns, but peaceful negotiation. That's what we call princely states integration. So it's a bloodless revolution in our human history, in our Indian history, and in fact entire human history. It's like conquering. Samudragupta conquered so many territories, many kingdoms merged in Gupta Empire, but with violence. British, they conquered different territories, again with violence. But after independence, many princely states, means many kingdoms integrated with Indian Union, but without blood. So this is how transforming from one stage to the other stage. That is what first chapter and second chapter is about conquest, and now the third chapter is about Politico-Administration. Now you see, one difference you will observe. When it comes to Mauryans, in just a single paragraph, Mauryan polity also syllabus there, Mauryan economy also syllabus there, Mauryan society also, Mauryan architecture also. But in modern time period, so much development, that's why for economy itself, separate chapter will come. You can see early structure of the British. This means for polity administration itself, separate chapter in detail. Early administrative structure, different administrative aspects. Then for economy itself, a separate chapter for economy itself. Economic impact of British. Agriculture and industries, separate chapter, sub-chapter. Social and cultural developments. For society and culture itself, separate chapter. You can observe in Mauryan, in Gupta time period, in Vedic time period, everything, economy, society, polity under just a single line or 2-3 lines. But now, society itself became a chapter. So many details within society and within culture. How their society, culture, and again, different reforms from Indians, different contributions, different people contributed. Now, people revolted against the political system. That is what Indian response to British. Peasants revolted, tribal revolted, and soldiers revolted. That's what. Then when it comes to 8, then people started knowing that peaceful reformation is important at the political level. From 8th onwards, birth of nationalism, rise of Gandhi, it's about Politico-Administration, politics. Now when it comes to Gandhiji, he mixed politics with the society, economy also. That's why Gandhiji and Gandhian policies, economic policies also, social policies also. Removal of untouchability, usage of Khadi. Khadi represents economic angle and untouchability removal, social angle. So politics, society, economy, everything is mixing during Gandhi time period. Then how different constitutional developments after 1857. Same thing, different, how different people reacted to the existing political setup. Then 13th is after independence, once again India became independent, new people, new setup. Once again we are going to talk about same administration, same economy, same society. Consolidation, Nehru's foreign policy and her neighborhood, external context, the linguistic reorganization of the states. It is like administration, then regionalism and regional inequality, society and economy, integration of princely states. It's like conquest, like Samudragupta conquered with sword, British conquered with guns, but at this time, peacefully, many princely states integrated. Electoral politics, now new constitution came and new politics, national language, society, caste and ethnicity, society, economic development, you say economic angle, political change, land reforms economy, politics of planning, rural and reconstruction, ecology and environment. Now new trend, new change, new challenge came, that is environment also, progress of science. You see, progress of science, science and technology. Same these 5 dimensions, different timelines and different people. That is paper 2, part A. When it comes to part B in paper 2, world level. Now only just same elements we are going to apply to this particular geography. Now you see, this particular geography, only we are going to talk about American Revolution, our syllabus is, you will find American Revolution, American Civil War, French Revolution and different policies in France, British, their reformation, Italian unification, Germany unification, then Russian Revolution, then Egypt, and this entire area was colonized, later decolonized. Colonized means conquest, decolonized means leaving the colonies. Similarly, this West Asia and this location, Arab nationalism. Similarly, we will go to this location also. We are going to apply same 5 principles, Politico-Administration, economy, society, science and technology, but we need not to worry about that much when it comes to world history. We will not talk about science and technology, so their societies, their economic angle, we will not worry. Mostly our concentration is about polity, administration, conquest, and the people's reaction, revolts, revolutions. This is what, when it comes to the world history. World history, nothing but, as of now, only for the Indian geography we studied, and specifically, we will start talking about not only for this particular land, but for the entire, not only for this particular land. Ancient, medieval, modern, we talked about this particular land. When it comes to world history, we talk about some important developments in this land, in this land, in this land, and in different parts. Because that is also part of human history. Most importantly, the developments in those areas affected Indians. Those developments affected Indians also. That is why we will study what happened there, how it influenced. What happened here, influenced. What happened there, how it influenced. That is why other developments are also impacting India. That is why we should have some idea about what has happened in America, what has happened in France. If some remote corner, if something happened, if we don't have any influence on India, then we will not study. But it is affecting us, it affected us. That is why we have. One best example is our Indian constitution took the inspiration from the constitutions of many parts of the world. That is why other developments also, how they lived and what influenced the Indians, what so big about this particular land and what influenced us. Just we will glance through the syllabus. You will come to know that in European areas, Enlightenment and modern ideas emerged during this time period. Different people contributed, and now origin of the modern politics. European, American Revolution, French Revolution, American Civil War, British democratic politics. Different geographic location, politics. Now industrialization, it talks about economy of British, economy of USA, economy of Japan. Nation states, again politics. Nationalism, state building in Germany, Germany unification, Italy unification. Disintegration of empires, again politics, how Mauryan disintegration happened, how Gupta Empire disintegrated, how Mughal Empire disintegrated. Likewise, in other parts of the globe also, some empires were there, they disintegrated. Imperialism and colonialism, again like politics. Imperialism means conquering the territories, in colonialism, conquering the territories, like Samudragupta conquered in India. British conquered. Similarly, at that point of time, Europeans conquered not only in their own lands, but for other areas. South and Southeast Asia, Latin America, South America, Australia, free trade, rise of new imperialism. Distant lands also conquered. Now revolution and counter-revolution. Russian Revolution and Italy Revolution, Germany and Chinese Revolution. Now you see, revolutions, how people reacted to the existing political administration. Now two world wars, First World War, Second World War, politics, conquest, again same, political administration. Then world after two, emergence of two world powers, emergence of third world and UNO, a new kind of organization to settle the disputes, political administration. Now we are talking about not only about the political administration of a particular country. This is politics of entire world, not only single country, but entire world. Global governance, global politics, global governance we are talking. Now, disintegration of the empires or decolonization, different countries, Latin America, Egypt, South Africa and Vietnam. Decolonization, underdevelopment, economic, unification of Europe, again politics, how integration of European area taking place, disintegration of Soviet Union, how Soviet Union empire was there, again how it disintegrated. After the disintegration, who became the most powerful country in the world itself? America, ascendancy. This is how, same when it comes to world history, we talk about different geographic locations. More or less we are talking about political administration of those geographic locations. But when it comes to Indian history, we talk about ancient, medieval, modern. It's nothing but the same story from before 1500 to till 1964, how our political, economic and society, and in this timeline, how these 5 dimensions are keep on changing. How from ancient period to the modern time period, how these. Now when it comes to GS, just you can observe, in ancient, in Mauryan period, economy, society, art and culture, everything became single line. When it comes to modern India, economy itself became a separate chapter, society separate chapter. Now you observe, after independence, again till today, history happened. In fact, this is the history from 1947 onwards. Our general studies syllabus, GS 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you observe, in ancient India, just one line. In modern India, one chapter. Now for post-independence, one syllabus, one paper itself it became. Polity itself, one paper or some part of the paper too. Economy, some part of GS3 paper, society some part of GS1 paper, art and culture some part of paper 1 GS1, science and technology paper 3 some part of it. Now you see, only it is enlarging the syllabus, but dimension is the same thing. Because now we got more evidence, more things are there to study within the single zone. That is why the syllabus increases. Otherwise, only these 5 dimensions from the evolution of human history till today. This is what our entire history is. You need not to worry about at all, just time change, geography changes, but these are the 5 dimensions which we keep on study repeatedly. Shabri, clear up to here? This is what our history syllabus. Just if you broadly decode it, there are only 5 dimensions, nothing else. How to handle map questions? Very good. When it comes to map, always in the ancient past, we should have very good idea about geographic location. Prehistoric, most of the questions related to prehistoric and protohistoric period. We have to have some idea about in which locations prehistoric settlements were there, Mesolithic settlements were there, Neolithic settlements were there. To handle map, you have this book. Different books have the maps. R.S. Sharma, you have maps. Upinder Singh, you have very good maps. While you are studying prehistoric period, you go to Upinder Singh. You observe in Neolithic what maps are given, in Mesolithic what maps are given, and in Chalcolithic what maps are given. You have some idea about in which locations in Deccan important, Paleo, Meso, Neolithic, Chalcolithic, in this location important, in this location important. Likewise, you need to categorize at least 300 settlements. If you have some idea about 300 sites, and in that 300 also, almost 150 to 160, 50% just belongs to Stone Age, Paleo, Meso, Neo, Indus Valley Civilization, Chalcolithic. In just 3 chapters, more than 50% of the sites will come. In question also, 50%, that means out of 20 map marking sites, at least 10 up to 50%, 40 to 50% you will get from this zone only. And this is the area most difficult also. Once you cross to historic period, they talk about different ports, different capitals, different education centers, likewise. Ports, capitals, education centers, likewise, they will talk. And relatively, you will be able to identify these things very easily. For every site, you have to write only 30 words, not more than that. If you identify the site number 1 mark, you will get 30 words, 1.5 mark, total 2.5 mark. You will get 100% of the score when it comes to map marking. So try to use this as opportunity. When it comes to map marking, you will get out of 50 marks, you can score up to 40 marks also. 40 means very high accuracy. If you maintain high accuracy, very high rewarding area map. But provided only difficult part is maintaining this list. And this list, ports, capitals, education, you will not have difficulty in maintaining this list. Only difficulty comes in Stone Age, IVC and Chalcolithic. Particularly focus on this area. Suppose if you are giving the exam next year, you keep looking at the sites from now onwards. Just you give at least half an hour every day. Till the time you become comfortable in map marking. Just half an hour. You go to R.S. Sharma, keep looking at the maps. Upinder Singh, keep looking at the maps and you identify in which locations these are there, and just you will get a complete idea that what is happening in which location. I have also prepared a map book with systematically you will find different maps and tabular format wise also. You will easily write these 30 words. I have given detailed description and also properly organized, like what is the location, what is the Paleolithic evidence, Mesolithic evidence, Neolithic evidence likewise. But first, if you are starting the map, first you go to R.S. Sharma, read it, Upinder Singh, just go to the maps, then you identify which Stone Age, which IVC, Chalcolithic are there. Shabari, is it clear? Buddhist, yes, Buddha, Jaina sites, everything will be part of historic period. Relatively, you will have not much difficulty in understanding because most of the sites you will know. But Stone Age, IVC, these very new for us when you are studying about a map. First you go through the R.S. Sharma and Upinder Singh and you will get some kind of clarity. Just give half an hour, few days every day. After 2-3 weeks, just you will come to just idea that what kind of settlements are there. Have you understood how our syllabus is designed? You need not to feel much complicated about our history syllabus. All right? Very clear? Very good. Thank you. So just in this framework, you can just follow it. And with respect to map, you follow this. Then slowly, slowly, you will become more comfortable in history optional. And nowadays, UPSC is giving more marks in history optional also. 300, 320, up to 320 students are going. In fact, one student this year in paper 2, a student got 180 score out of 250. Can you imagine? 180 out of 250 in paper 2. The same student, he got in paper 1 around 124 out of 250. Total, he scored 304. Here you see this figure, 180. You will see these figures in science papers like mathematics. But in history, UPSC is awarding this score. So if someone says UPSC history optional is not scoring means, and this is the myth, then if no student should get this many marks if UPSC is not rewarding marks. It's only that we have to give the quality answer. When it comes to this part, we need to focus on map, that is evidence and historiography. If we mention some historian names who has given that particular idea, and if we give the evidence, then reaching this, now you see this, you forget about 180, you improve 124 to 150 plus, and you imagine you get 150 plus. 300 plus easy. But how? This again, this is not that easy. You can go to 240. 240 means 120 here, 120 here. But this 30 marks extra, it comes through this. That's why map you have to see in the high scoring zone. When you are very strong in the map, out of 30, you will get those 15 marks. That extra 15 marks you will get from the historiography. That is how in paper 1 you will get a 150 plus score. When it comes to paper 2, you have to give more people names. As I said, people, we will get more number of people, you have to mention the people name and historian names. And places names also. Then if you give these areas, then automatically, that means evidence, whatever you are saying in history, it should be supported with a lot of evidence. If you can mention this, automatically your score 150 you can score. 300 plus. UPSC is awarding very high scores in history optionals. compulsory question, some are very tough, sir. Yes, that is why you should not leave any part of the syllabus. If you don't leave any part of the syllabus, then it becomes easy. If you leave some portions, some chapters, it becomes difficult. That's why don't leave any part of the syllabus. Automatically, if questions are little bit tricky also, it is all about the competition. When in comparison with other students, your answers are going to be far better if you don't leave any kind of part of the syllabus. Then you will get automatically high score in comparison with other students. Yes, Shibri? All right? Any specific doubt you have? Okay, Shibri. Thank you very much. We will meet in some other session. Okay? Thank you very much. Thank you.